In the past, I used to cover RuneScape Mobile quite a lot, and I say in the past, it's been about 2 months since I properly made a video covering RuneScape Mobile, when I made the video talking about this is probably the best MMO to play on mobile, and to be honest, I still stand by that point today. And even though I've stopped using RuneScape Mobile as much, the only reason for that is because I've had a lot of time free to actually get on my computer. However, I wanted to go back and take a look at the client now and see how it's doing. Basically just take a look over it, see if anything's been fixed, see if there's any issues that I still have with it and the things that I used to talk about that needed sorting out, and just basically discuss things that may be able to improve it and just see where it's going. So in the comments, this is your job, is to get involved and share all your thoughts, whether you agree, whether you disagree, but also let me know issues that you have with this client, things you wish it had so far. Obviously it's still in beta, I believe, and a lot of these improvements are yet to come, but we do have to be patient for that. However, let me know things that you hope they will fix, things you hope they will put in, and let's discuss it. Anyway, let's get into it, because this intro's been pretty long. Sorry about that. Let's get going. Before we get into it, actually, there's one thing I wanted to mention, and that is that I am not bashing on this client at all. I love RuneScape Mobile. I'm glad that they've put as much time into it as they have, because I think it's such a really good asset to the game, and I'm sure it's brought in quite a lot of players as well. Speaking of which, if you are watching this video, because this is the sort of video that might sort of spread out outside of the RuneScape community, try it out. It's free to play now. You can jump in and just give it a go, give it a shot, because it's definitely still the best MMO on mobile as far as I'm concerned, so give it a shot. Anyway, let's continue, for real this time. Okay, so in the past, the main issue I had with RuneScape Mobile wasn't the interface, it wasn't how you move around, it wasn't the combat, it was literally that when they brought it out and released it to a limited amount of people on Android, it was still members only. Now, I get it, it's in beta, they want members to test everything, but when you're releasing it to an unlimited amount of players, you're going to get players who want to play it, and now it's fixed. It's free to play, so that issue is gone. You can jump in, you can try this game out for absolutely free, and you can play free to play as long as you want. It's not like a demo of other games where you get 5 hours, 10 hours of game time, and then you've got to subscribe and be a member. Free to play, you could probably play it for years, in all honesty. And then eventually, you can save up loads of gold from doing stuff and buy yourself a bond so you can buy membership without even having to spend a single dollar on the game. So, good stuff, Jagex. One down, and off to a good start. So, the next thing that I wanted to talk about. Okay, so the next thing that I wanted to mention was actually the user interface. Now, the reason I'm going to be talking about this next is because it's the first thing that someone's going to see as soon as they load into the game. You've created your character and everything, you get in, and what you're going to see is what's on the screen now, pretty much. Minus a few things that I've changed around, but I'll go over that very quickly as well. So I do think initially the user interface looks quite clean and tidy. Like, you've got all your icons on the right hand side. This is called the ribbon for future context, and on the left hand side you've got just 3 icons, one that brings up your sort of main menu like this, and these are sort of things that I'm not going to go over in this video because it's not like a guide or anything, but it's your sort of main hub for going through all of your different little windows and stuff like that. However, the chat window is there on the little mail. You can press that 3 times. Once brings it little, twice big, and then 3 goes away. And then you've got your task system there under that. That'll be pretty useful for you new players if you are thinking of joining, so keep that in mind. Then down the left you've got your little combat HUD sort of thing, which is hidden behind this sword button. You click that and that comes up, but we'll go over combat again in a separate part of the video. So nice and clean, looks good. Jagex have done a pretty good job with this, I feel, and I don't have all that many complaints. However, there is a few things that I think would probably make it a little bit better. Now, the ribbon, as I mentioned earlier, is these icons all on the right hand side, and you can customize 7 of them. However, I don't think that the first 3 are all that self-explanatory for new players, but for you guys that have played for a while, it probably makes quite a lot of sense. The second one is your minimap, that's hidden in there, and that goes in and out so you can get your screen back if you don't have use for it. Most of the time you're probably going to have use for it, so that's usually always going to be out. Then the rest are all your backpack and worn equipment. These icons do make sense once you've learnt the game a little bit, and obviously your backpack's an icon as a backpack, so they've done quite well with that. However, like I said, the ribbon can be customized, and there's a few icons that you'd be missing. So if you do what I just did, click the home button and then the 3 lines on the top right of your screen, you're going to be able to customize your ribbon here where it says ribbon, and there's those buttons that are on the top are the ones that I am missing. You can only display up to 7 on your ribbon bar, but there's no reason for that. It would be nice if jagex really just allowed for these ribbon icons on the right hand side to be moved around like they do allow there. But if we could just have a little scroll bar, we could scroll that down, and that's really only the only initial UI problems that I do have, or suggestions that I do have. Being able to scroll down and just having all of them accessible is something that makes a lot of sense to me, and obviously you can just scroll back up when you need something else, and being able to arrange them in any specific order for yourself is really nice, and I don't see any issue with it other than that. Obviously, share your thoughts in the comments because I'd love to hear them. If you have any reason why that wouldn't work, then by all means. But that's basically my thoughts on the initial UI, and it looks pretty good, so happy with that. And there's nothing too intrusive with the way it looks, like the colours and stuff. Everything looks quite nice and tidy. But let's move on to the next thing that I want to talk about. And there's a few problems here with the UI as well, but we'll get onto that. And the next thing is going to be the combat. So the combat in this game is actually not terrible, and to be honest, you could probably do any boss on this game if there was just a few adjustments made. Now, I have done Telos, I have done Araxi, and I've done Nex, and a few other ones as well, so it's definitely possible to do them, but I wouldn't recommend doing things like Telos on mobile just yet. There's a few things that do need changing, and this is pretty much why I wanted to go over the combat in a little bit more detail. However, I'll try and make it as quick as possible because the user interface took quite a while. So, combat is done really well. They've given you the option to have your revolution bar at the bottom, and then you've got your extra action bar. Now, for anybody who doesn't play RuneScape, you have action bars that you slot abilities into, and you can put things like items and stuff as well in there. Now, it's really good that they've given you the extra action bar and allowed it to not be the same as your revolution one. However, the only main issue I have with the action bars is you need more space. You can switch between these, so you could change from number 9 to number 8, things like that, and you've got pretty much unlimited icons then, but it'd just make life so much easier is if where the tap to find target icon is, this is something that I do not use. I do not use it at all. Like, it could be useful in certain situations, but most of the time you're going to be able to just click on the thing you want to be able to attack. And to be honest, it's really not that difficult to just do that. So if I could remove that, I would put there an extra 4 or 5 slots, and that way I would have access to pretty much everything that I would need for one single boss at one time. I would probably have to rearrange some of these sometimes every time I did a different boss, but if I was going to commit to trying to do Telos, I could have everything that I need on one action bar at the same time, and it wouldn't be any issues. I could definitely go and do that, and then I would probably recommend that you would be able to do this on mobile. Obviously, doing it on PC is going to be easier, but with practice you could probably get to a point where it's fairly efficient. However, like I say, PC is always going to be the best way to go for bossing, but for you guys that play exclusively on mobile, this is something that I would probably really recommend that we try and push for, because it's definitely going to be needed. Another thing that I really wish that they did was with the inventory, when you open it, it overlays the action bar on the right hand side that you have. Why would it do that? Like, just make it small above it. There's plenty of space above it between that and the minimap. If we opened in there and then had a scroll bar on the right hand side so we can scroll through our inventory, that would allow us to have access to our inventory, and also all the abilities would not have just disappeared. Losing that many abilities can really ruin the kill for you, especially if you need to do things like switch weapons or put on your Ring of Vigor to use Death Swiftness, things like that, and it could end up getting you killed if you can't prayer flick and also item switch at the same time. Now, I mentioned about the UI. As you can probably see, and maybe I should have mentioned this a bit sooner, the UI during combat and bosses like Araxi, which I'm doing now, is terrible. You can see at the top you've got your buff bar where it displays like my potion timers, my prayers that I have active, all that sort of stuff, and underneath that is the health bar for the boss that I am killing. Now, I can't even see that, and in certain bosses, seeing the health bar is so important for phasing it into different types of the kill, and also just knowing when to do certain things during the fight. So not having access to see that health bar just because your buff bar is literally overlaying it, why not just move it down jagex, or just scale it down a little bit so we can have the health bar a little bit smaller, the buff bar a little bit smaller, and just don't overlap them? Surely that wouldn't take too long to do. I am not pretending to know what I'm doing with programming or coding, but let me know in the comments, is this something that really would take a long time to do? Would they have to go and rewrite a lot of stuff, or would it cause a lot of errors? Let me know in the comments if you have any idea on this, because I really don't know why it hasn't been done already. However, otherwise, the combat in this game is absolutely fine. You've got access to your inventory fairly easily when you don't want to use the other abilities, and you can definitely do bosses. I've done plenty of Araxi kills, I've done a couple of Telos kills, not too many, but I have done it on 100% Enrage. Definitely possible to do, and for things like Slayer and stuff, you will have no problems whatsoever. Jagex, just fix that little thing with the overlay on the health, and just add the little scroll bars to stuff, and, you know, 10 out of 10. Personally, those are the real only issues that I have at the moment. Like, there's a few other things that could be fixed, but immediately, and things that need, like, attention now, is those ones that I've just mentioned. Mainly being the ones in the combat, and it's just... They just need to make use of the space that they have on the screen a little bit better, I believe, and just realise that stuff like that buff bar does not need to be that big. Anyway, other than that, the game itself, if you're going to be using this for AFK skilling, for example, if you're just coming on here so you can get some skills leveled up, and so you can just get some things done while you're not at home and don't have access to the computer, then this app will be brilliant for you. It will be all you need. You can go ahead and do all the skills. You won't have any issues, really. I know there's some things with specific devices where if you open the bank then it might crash, but that is device specific, and unfortunately it is something that they do have to fix device by device as far as I am aware. But they will get fixed, and as just remember, it still is in beta. However, like I said, for the app as a whole, I think they've done a really good job, and it's still, even with the issues that it does have, probably the best MMORPG available on a mobile device, especially seeing as if one day you decide, I don't want to play a mobile, I'm going to try out the desktop client, or even if obviously you're already playing that, then you can go between each as you please. Now, I'm not going to spend the rest of your night or the next 2 hours going over all the little tiny issues that this game has. There is a few, but I have made a video in the past, and I will put a card above at the top linking to that, where I've covered all the little confusing things and tiny little issues that there is. So if you're wanting to look for all those, go ahead and watch that video. However, as a review for this whole sort of app at the moment, I think it's pretty good, and I'd probably give it like a 7 or 8 out of 10. Fix the issues, Jagex, fix the little things that I've mentioned, and the things that people will be saying in the comments below, hopefully, and then we will probably be getting pretty close to 9 or 10, and that is absolutely amazing. The experience as a brand new player into this game is pretty damn amazing, I'd say. You are going to be able to start off on RuneScape Mobile now, as it is free to play, as I said. Completely brand new account, create your character and everything as shown in the beginning, and you will be able to completely play this game from scratch. Hopefully, by the time you guys who are starting brand new do reach the end game content, they may have fixed these things, and that way you can experience the bosses and stuff without all the issues and dealing with all the little things that I've dealt with while doing bosses at end game at the moment. However, hopefully, like I say, they will be fixed for you, and I really do have my fingers crossed for you guys, because we want plenty more people to join this game, realise that it is a good game, and enjoy it and not have to deal with tiny little issues like this. That's pretty much it for the video. This is a really good game to play on your mobile phone. I really do recommend it. So if you are watching this and you haven't yet tried it out, then give it a good go, because it's absolutely free and you've got nothing to lose. So give it a shot. I'll link in the description where you can download it, but just check on your Play Store or Google Play, whatever, and you should be able to find it there. If you have any questions about the game that I didn't really cover, because this video is just getting really long, then ask me in the comments. I am more than happy to answer them. I reply to pretty much all of my comments. I do try my best to reply to every single one, but every now and again one does slip through. But if you enjoyed the video, if it helped you out on finding a game, if you just found it interesting in any way, then leave a like for the video so other people find it too. Guys, if you're playing RuneScape 3, you want more players, so leave a like on the video. Definitely you guys, because then it'll get suggested to the people who don't even play it yet, and we might get a few new people, who knows. And also, make sure you subscribe if you do enjoy my videos. I'll be making more in the future, and for anyone wondering, episode 8 of God Wars Dungeon Prep is definitely coming. Don't panic, it will be coming soon, but I just wanted to put something else out in the meantime. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. See you later, guys. Bye.